This is why Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring is the worst of the Lord of the Rings creations. Lord of the Rings takes place on a physical plane called Middle-earth, which survives as almost the sole landmass on a largely water-based planet. It's the continuation of Bilbo's journey, there and back again, from the Shire to the Lonely Mountain, and the discovery of what is revealed to be the sole ring of power. Bilbo departs from the Shire at the beginning of both the book and the movie, leaving the ring to Frodo, his nephew. In the book, Gandalf instructs Frodo to make for Rivendell within a couple months' time, or they depart immediately in the movie to Bree. In the movie, he bestows a companion, a fellow hobbit named Sam Gamgee. Otherwise, in the book, Sam follows him anyways. Then Gandalf departs unknowingly into a trap from his old mentor, Saruman. Spoiler alert, he'll be back. Anyways, both depart first for Bree and are pursued by the ring wraiths, who possess some of the lesser rings and seek to return the One Ring to their master. In the book, they meet with Pippin and Merry by the time they stop at Frodo's new house, Crick Hollow, and set off through the old forest. They quickly get lost and almost swallowed by the roots of a tree ant, but are saved by Tom Bombadil, a special, divine character that honestly deserves a video of his own, and it is not in the movie. Either way, they both end up at Bree and come under the guidance of Aragorn of Arathon, Strider, of whom is one of Gandalf's Dunedain, who's been guarding the ring in the Shire since the first arrival of Bilbo 80 years prior. They set east, make it to Weathertop, where they're met by 5 of the ring wraiths, and Frodo stabbed by a Morgul blade, a disintegrating blade that has no cure known to man. The book doesn't seem to encapsulate the severity of this stab, as the company sort of deals with it and keeps traveling east before they're escorted into Rivendell by elves. The movie encapsulates the emotion of Frodo's incoming death better, by paralyzing the group until the arrival of Arwen. Either way, the ring wraiths perish in the flood, and the second half of the book begins. At Rivendell, they hold council to determine the fate of the ring, and that it should be escorted by a small company to the far east, to Mordor. Both the movie and the book choose the 4 hobbits, the returned Gandalf, Aragorn, and the man, dwarf, and elf, Boromir, Gimli, and Legolas. They call it
the Fellowship of the Ring.
That's the name of the book and movie. Largely, the book and the movie follow the same route from here. The company struggles crossing the Misty Mountains, opts for the Mines of Moria. Gandalf dies to a Balrog. Spoiler alert, he'll be back. They make to the woods of Lothlorien and meet the Lady Galadriel. The company travels down the Anduin River southeast towards Mordor before they're ambushed by orcs. Boromir dies. Spoiler alert, he won't be back. Pippin and Merry get a new company to travel with. Frodo and Sam set off east towards Mordor. And finally, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli pursue Pippin and Merry west into Rohan, launching the events of the second book. Honestly, I give the movie a 7 out of 10 compared to all movies ever, but a 5 out of 10 compared to the next 2 movies that follow in the Lord of the Rings series. No Tom Bombadil, pretty dry humor I don't get, and skipping lots of exposition ruins it for me. It makes sense that they'd skip exposition for a movie, however, to keep it from being any longer than 3 hours long. So, maybe skipping the exposition and the lore is just a me problem and not a fair rating. I would rate the entire Lord of the Rings book series as a 10 out of 10, but for the 2 books that specifically make up the Fellowship, I would rate it a 9 out of 10, because of the countless loose ends it leaves to be tied up in following parts. Even though I didn't rate them equally, the movie is a fair recreation, as it follows the themes of the books one for one, along with about 99% of the plot.